Hello fellow DIYers, today we'll be reinstalling the VW HD radio. This one is the MIB STD2 PQ plus navigation. There we go. So pull back on the tab, make sure it's nice and snug, and then once you're happy it's most of the way in, we're gonna shut that down. So plugs are color coded, makes that a lot easier for us. A little white tab here, hope you guys can see that. That locks it into place. Another one here. Push it, make sure it's seated properly all the way in. Unlock it with that tab. Make sure your wires are pushed back. There we go. There's two tabs here that it slots into with a little notch. That should line it up. And then our torque screws, standard. Just gonna hand tighten them in. Hand tighten them first because you don't want them falling all the way down into the air vents. Just give it one turn, make sure that's not going anywhere. And we're going to do the left side. Opposite corner, make sure you got a firm grip on it. You want to drop it down that vent. I like to do the diagonal corners, so make sure the radio seated properly in those two notches there. Right, we're happy with that. That's the last one here. Basically, you can disconnect the negative terminal on your car battery. It is safer to work with it that way. So this is for the hazard switch, and that's your passenger airbag light to indicate whether your passenger airbag is turned off for the car seat, baby car seat. Just make sure your vents slot in nicely there. There's the hazard switch. Once it slots in, there's the two screws, torque screws we're going to put back in there. So It's a little tab here. Remove that. Hazard switch. Make sure it clicks in. Quick test. Lovely. And then we're going to pull through our airbag. Okay. Careful not to scratch the head unit. The slot for the hazard switch is quite narrow, so we have to line that up nicely. And let's quickly plug our airbag light back in. Click back in. Excellent. Okay, now line up our. Make sure our clips are lined up first before we start clicking everything in. Bismillah. That's good. And there we go. Okey-dokes. And top drive up. Be careful again, you don't want to drop your torque screw down behind the radio. You'll never get it back unless you're prepared to strip off the dash. Always have something there just to finger behind, just in case. There we go. That's in. Nice and tight. Things in. Alrighty then. And this was a bit of a mission to get out. Clip that back nicely. There we go. Now card slot holder. Lovely. Vision guide light is on. Quick test. He's going to make sure there's no fault codes coming up. Also, it's due. Start the telephone. Notice this screen is quite dim. That's the reason I took it out, is to get the model number. Then order